Hey folks, it's time to have a little morning coffee chat. I gotta go to the electronics store today to get a couple of capacitors for this TV and get it put back together and see if I can bring it in focus and get a decent picture off of it. Those old TVs are going away, and I like them for my classic gaming systems because there's no delay like there is on a modern flat screen TV. There's a little bit of a delay there, and that messes up the gameplay. But I used to fix electronics and monitors and stuff at an old job, so I know how to do these repairs. You know, they're not that hard once you know what you're checking for. It's easier if you can get a wiring diagram. Most of the modern stuff you cannot find wiring diagrams for it, and I didn't find one for this. So I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. Or Vivek Ramaswamy, I think his name. I think the K is silent. He came to Springfield. He did a town hall. Let me say at the outset, everything that he says, I'm pretty much in agreement with. I like the way he says it. I like what he says. I like that he's about America and freedom and liberty. At least he says he is. My problem with Ramaswamy is that he's a dishonest thief, right? And so I'll put a link below to a couple of Meet Kevin's videos. One was his claim and the other one was the response. But basically he set up a company, I think it was called Riovant, and then there was another one called Vivek or something. And so what he did is he said, I want to make billions of dollars. And the way to do that is with Wall Street. And so he ran what we call a classic pump and dump scam, but he ran it on a much larger level than a little tiny pump and dump scam. And he did it and just skirted the legalism of it. So what he did was he formed a company. He formed that company in Bermuda so that it's also a tax shelter, so he doesn't have to pay tax on any of that money. He got together with his hedge fund buddies, got some startup money, and then he bought a failed pharmaceutical that's for treating Alzheimer's. Now, Alzheimer's, I'll just go off on a little bit of a separate thing here. Alzheimer's is caused by your diet and by statin medications. All right, if you don't believe that, that's fine. But statins they cross the blood-brain barrier to stop your brain from making LDL, and your brain is made of cholesterol, and it needs cholesterol to form new neurogenic pathways and keep them maintained. And by the LDL that your liver makes can't cross the blood-brain barrier. It has to make its own. I'll put a link to a video I did about LDL up here. But anyway, a lot of people are scared they're going to get dementia and, we have to treat it, blah, 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 blah. And so he buys this failed pharmaceutical. It's been through like 4 failed trials, right? He buys it from another major pharmaceutical company. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in Meet Kevin's video. He pays him like $5 million for it. And then he takes like the 4th failed study, and he has his mommy, who's a doctor, go and kind of reinterpret it and say, well, it wasn't necessarily a failure. Over the next 2 years, he used his smooth talking. He's a smooth talker. And that, I don't trust smooth talkers. All right. And he went and did interviews with the media, all this stuff about this new drug. And then he used a bunch of drug lingo, like, oh, it's gonna inhibit the choline, blah, 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 like that people don't know or don't understand. But he can say, I disclosed how it works. I put it in the SEC documents. He renamed the drug. And over the next 2 years, he sold billions of dollars in stock. Of stock like me. I mean, I don't invest in companies directly very often. I have a few that I have a little bit with, but mostly I do this through mutual funds and stuff, right? But those mutual funds will have a small stake in all these companies. And, people started to invest in his company. Hardworking people who have 401ks and have or invest directly in it. I use Charles Schwab, and I invest directly into stocks and mutual funds and index funds, right? Well, 2 years later, it comes out that it really is a failure. By then, his hedge fund buddies and him have pulled their money out, and then the report comes out. Now, the stock drops by 99%, right? And they all walk away with billions of dollars. Tax-free. That's a problem. That's a moral problem for me. What he did was technically legal. It skirted the law. Technically, it was legal. But to go and rob people of their money makes you a part of the problem. Just like First Diversity. Just like, all the other people that take our money, all the big food, big pharma, doctors, healthcare, the people that are taking our money and they're moving our jobs to China and they're hiring immigrants to do our jobs because we're so sick we can't do them anymore. And they can pay them less money, right? They're willing to work for less money than we are because they're willing to live with multiple people in one house and share all those expenses, where we want one house per family or one apartment per family. Everybody is taking our money, and Vivek Ramaswamy is part of that. He is a dishonest thief. Now, he responded to Kevin's, I guess I should say when he was running for president, he was still a presidential candidate. He responded, or his public relations person responded to Kevin, and it was all like, well, Kevin is a failed Democratic candidate. Like, Kevin ran for governor of California. He lost, but, you're most likely going to lose. And he is a registered Democrat, but he's like an old RFK Democrat. He's not like a modern, left-leaning, twisted liberal Democrat. And he was involved in a scam where somebody was paying him to do advertisements or whatever for this hedge fund or some kind of fund, and people went and invested in it, and it turned out to be a scam. And he told people right away, as soon as he knew, to get their money out. He thought it was a good thing, and it wasn't. That's different than knowing what you're doing is going to steal billions of dollars from people. So I would just say, Vivek Ramaswamy, with very cautious eyes. I don't know why he came to Springfield to talk to us. And he may have done it for the exact reasons that he said. He feels bad for us. He grew up in Cincinnati, Or there may be something else going on. He may be thinking about running for some other political office or something else, and he's just trying to get support and votes. I do like what he says. I agree mostly with what he says. But I just get the feeling that he's just saying it for some type of potential benefit to himself. I don't trust the guy. So that's why I stayed here and played my Super NES while Vivek Ramaswamy was given a town hall meeting. He really has no power. He's never been elected to any office. He's a billionaire that stole money from lots of people. I don't know. I mean, there's things I don't like that Trump has done with different properties and stuff. But at least he admits that he's done it. You know, when he was talking with Hillary Clinton in their first debate, she was saying, well, how do you know that these tax loopholes exist? Blah, 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 blah. He was like, because I used them. So at least Trump is honest about the things that he's done. But Vivek Ramaswamy has never come out and talked about how he made all his money and never offered any explanation for that. So I'm limited in how much I trust him. I see him as a part of the problem in this country, not really a part of the solution, which is to, you know, get the Wall Street people out of companies and get small local businesses, medium-sized, that work and pay their employees well. Get unions out of the picture. You know, I used to work for a government facility. I won't say which one. It was here in town. And I worked there 3 years. And then they went union. And the day the union passed and went through, I turned in my resignation. I'm like, I don't want to work for a union. I don't know. I don't know. I don't trust Ramaswamy any farther than I could throw him. So always just be kind of cautious as to what's going on there and look behind the scenes and watch the Meet Kevin video. It really goes into detail. He pulls up documents and SEC disclosures and all kinds of stuff to prove what happened. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.